5 females of the year. I got Scott. He's got Trisha Adora. He's got Thunder Rosa, Deonna Purrazzo, Utami Hasha. I forget. It looks like Hayashishita. Zach.
Easy for you to say.
Are going to butcher me about this. I actually looked up some stuff. She's from Stardom. She's killing it. But yeah.
Well, anybody, hey, guys out there, if you're out there and you're checking this out for the first time or you're checking out our podcast for the first time, we support women's wrestling. And one of the best places to find women's wrestling is Stardom. Stardom, Shine, organizations like that. They might not have the big names like you're going to see because WWE and because AEW and stuff like that obviously has more broadcasting. But check out Shine, check out Stardom. You won't regret it.
Also, he has a woman named Giulia, Giulia. So, Scott, you know you're wrestling, baby. That's why I try to get as much info as I can.
A lot of the girls on Scott's list or the women on Scott's list are very similar to his tastes when it comes to the men's wrestling. He's got a lot of good, strong style there. I love a lot of those girls that he's got on there. It's just hard to say that they're in the top 5 just because, unfortunately, the eyes that are on them.
Mike Caldwell, former guest of the show, he's got a list. Britt Baker, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Rhea Ripley. All right, I'm going to pick a person out of this list. Rhea Ripley. I love me some Rhea Ripley. She was a tag team this year. I think she had a brief run as every women's champion. I just didn't think she was.
Unfortunately for her, if anything, the WWE took a step back with her. I have a problem with a couple people on that list. One, Charlotte always has good years, but I don't think this is one of her better years. And Sasha Banks, while she did have a couple big moments, missed most of the year filming other projects or injured.
I have Bianca Belair, Britt Baker, and I didn't see this woman on people's list. We'll see if she makes your list later. I got Camille, champion, just because I thought she was a dominant champ. And she was on. She got a little cameo on AEW too. And
the only problem with Camille, once again, is just how limited the NWA ran this year. Obviously, it was a big year for her. She had a great year for what was done with her. Yeah. It's just being signed to a company that's not running as often as other companies. Hurt her a little bit this year.
I just put her on that list for top 5 because she was booked very well. And she looks great, and she's got star written all over. I think
absolutely
she's going to make a big splash, and whether that's WWE or AEW, she's going to be capable of doing it either way.
She's got a much better career ahead of her than her husband.
I love me some Thomas Latimer, baby.
First of all, people are going to take that out of context. I absolutely love Thomas Latimer. Thomas Latimer is a hell of a wrestler. He always has been. Unfortunately, I don't know if politically he will ever get the push that he deserves just because of who he was connected to at one point in his life.
One last name on my list, probably not going to make yours, Deonna Purrazzo, Impact Women's Champion. Not. I thought she had a great year winning the Impact title. I thought she's one of the, really put some shine on the knockout division, and she did a great job of really showing where WWE and even NXT at a time when NXT was actually doing very well with stars, dropped the ball on her.
Completely dropped the ball. They didn't know what to do with her.
If there's any 2 women that NXT dropped the ball with, it was Deonna Purrazzo and Ty Conti, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, more
Purrazzo. Purrazzo. Yeah, but in fairness, Purrazzo's been wrestling for years. Ty Conti is still greener than goose shit and still learning the business.
Well, I don't know if she's as green as goose shit now, but I know what you mean.
No. I meant at the time she was in NXT. I'm sorry, I should have said that.
She was making improvements then too. A lot of people. So this is an argument I've heard online. A lot of people talk about how the system in NXT was broken, and that's why Ty is improving. I disagree.
I love Ty Conti.
Ty was already improving when she was in NXT. They
100%.
Let her go, but Ty has continued improving AEW, and I think a lot of this is on Ty. Ty soaks up knowledge, it seems like, from what I've seen. She trains with Dustin down there, too, and a lot of other people.
She works her ass off, which is not easy because that's an amazing.
Hey, now.
Randy Osga first here. That's let's make sure I'm actually reading Randy's first here. Nope, this is Mike Flynn. Let's go with Mike Flynn first. Mike brought us Britt Baker, Bianca Belair, Thunder Rosa, Charlotte, and Io Shirai.
Io Shirai.
Now, Io Shirai last year had an absolutely amazing year. And even in the beginning of this year, she was having an amazing year. However, she took the time off to heal up, took time off to get herself back into place. And since she's come back, she hasn't been used the same way. Yes, she is in the War Games coming up. Yeah. However, she has not been used as the dominant force that she did before she left. So I don't really think that this is her year. So putting her in the top 5 is a little off to me. Same thing with Charlotte. Thunder Rosa to me has not gotten enough votes yet. Thunder Rosa is one of those women that at any given time it can wrestle with anyone and have a 5-star match.
Absolutely. So far, I think
Bianca and Britt, as usual, are making every list.
I actually had Rosa. I took off and put Camille on there. So.
Yeah, good for you.
I actually kind of second guessing that a little bit, but we'll continue on with Jesse from New Hampshire because he's got Britt Baker, Serena Deeb, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, and Charlotte Flair.
I like the Serena Deeb on there. I don't normally care for Jesse in New Hampshire's answers because he's in New Hampshire, but he did a great job with this one. I think his list was good. Once again, I do question the Sasha Banks and Charlotte on everybody's list, but I continue to be impressed with some of the people that they are coming up with, and Serena Deeb was a good one.
You got Randy Oscar next there.
I do. Now, Randy tried to invoke the Jake rule. He tried to go with 6 people here. Yeah. And Randy, I love you, but you're only getting 5. So I'm going to pick which one I want to take off your list.
Oh, man.
So we're going to go with Britt Baker, Deonna Purrazzo, Thunder Rosa, Bianca Belair, and now I had to choose between Raquel Gonzalez and Mandy Rose. I'm going to shock you here. I'm going Mandy Rose. I think Mandy Rose has had a transformation year here, is really putting it together, whereas Raquel Gonzalez has been on the backslide for the second half of the year. So I'm going to actually go with Mandy Rose, even though she couldn't wrestle her way out of a wet paper bag. Because it's not who can wrestle better, it's top 5 women wrestlers of the year.
Well, I'm going to go with Zach St. John. Now, if you notice, we are hearing a couple more Thunder Rosa votes too now. Like he had Thunder Rosa, and Zach's got to go with Britt Baker, Bianca Belair, Utami, Deonna Purrazzo, and
Thunder Rosa.
So Rosa does get some votes here.
I do have for you Britt Baker, Bianca Belair.
Of course.
I also have Thunder Rosa. For me, this was the hardest spot to pick this 4th person, to be honest with you. My 5th one was easy. That one's not gonna shock anyone. But my 4th position, believe it or not, I think Liv Morgan is actually starting to come into her own. I'm not a big WWE fan when it comes to their women's wrestling, but she has worked hard all year. She's getting the spotlight in there, and I think she's getting a chance to come into her own. So I'm actually going to give her my number 4 spot. And then, of course, we're going to go with, what was that other one? Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah, I knew you pick her.
One of the best technical wrestlers in the world. She can work a match with anyone, any style, and she should be dripping in gold.
Down in AAA as well, too. I think she might.
Absolutely. She was actually simultaneously the AAA and Impact Women's Champions, and I believe she's still actually the AAA Women's Champion. Mickie James, who took the belt off her, also had a wonderful year, but I don't do the Jake rule, so screw off Mickie James.
I wouldn't put Liv there yet. I like Liv a lot. I just think that there are some other women, like a Mickie James, like even Banks. I mean, she was one half of the Mania main event at one point. It just had a little bit better years. I do want to see Liv get there. I think Liv is getting the reaction.
I just think this is her best year reaction-wise and in her career so far. And to be honest with you, this is more of a charity spot for me where I think that she's really making those pushes. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. And maybe this might be the best year of her career, unfortunately for her.
We'll see. All right, the top 2 vote getters are going to get automatically in there. I think we know who those are. That is Bianca Belair and Britt Baker.
Yeah.
More on them. Now, for that final spot, based off of people's votes and just,
I'm going to guess it's got to be close between Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo.
It is. It's exactly who it is. Like, if you look at Purrazzo, I'm not Purrazzo. If you look at Britt Baker even, like she's in our, top 2 vote getters, right? Does Britt Baker... I say she does, but I was going to say, does she have the year she has without Thunder Rosa? But Thunder Rosa really helped for a year.
Yeah, right? She helped get her over, helped work with her, really brought her wrestling ability to the next level.
Yeah.
Obviously, the personality-wise, Britt Baker's shining, and she works with a lot of people closely. I mean, she has one person in her own household who's pretty good at personality, but she also works closely with Jericho, and she's quick to pick people's brains. But without Thunder Rosa's wrestling, I don't know if her wrestling would have gotten to where it is. Now, we also have to give credit also. There's another person who's helped her tremendously with her wrestling, a certain Japanese wrestler who fell off a little bit this year. I think you know who I'm talking about. The former women's champion, the AEW women's champion. Yes. She worked very close with freaking Britt Baker. How many matches did they work before Britt Baker finally actually took the title off of her? So between the two of them,
she didn't get any votes.
Not her year. Think about it. I mean, she lost the beginning, but she lost the belt.
Yeah.
And then we didn't see her for like 6 months.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I think there are some people who just get votes automatically. If you're not following women's wrestling closely, you go, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks.
Well, I think that's what happens. And I think that's why I get annoyed by that is that I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. First of all, one of them took most of the year off. And the other one is actually having somewhat of a down year, even though she's the champion. She is the champ.
Honestly, I would pick Becky before those two, even though Becky's only been for half the year. But so those two, just
because of the splash from SummerSlam on.
Yeah,
Becky really is the man.
Right. The only reason why she's not in my top is because she's only done half the year. So
now, and we'll talk about this when we talk about the top two. But when it comes down to Thunder Rosa and it comes down to Deonna Purrazzo, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little bit biased, but but this isn't from biasness. I give the edge on this one to Deonna Purrazzo just because of how much more she had to carry this year,
right?
Compared to what Thunder Rosa had to carry this year,
right? No, I understand that. I mean, like I think Purrazzo is super talented ring. I think Rosa is doing so many good stuff. Like she's got
absolutely.
She's just she's doing MMA when she can. She's just. The
thing about Thunder Rosa is, and both of these girls actually, their personalities also have started to transcend. I think since coming to AEW, Thunder Rosa has done a great job of really not only getting across her personality when it comes to intensity, but even some of her comedic personality. Yeah. Some of the stuff that she does is absolutely, her timing is fantastic.
I think I have her slightly ahead on Purrazzo on the personality department because I think she's a little more range, but Purrazzo knows her character. Like that's what.
No, Purrazzo sticks right to what her character is.
Yeah.
Whereas Thunder Rosa has more of a well-rounded character.
Yeah, I think so. They're both close. I could have leaned towards Rosa, but I'm not going to fight you on that because it is close. I understand too.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I think either one of them is going out.
They have to.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I think we're going to probably agree. It's kind of funny because last week we went with Roman. And I mean, that's because we thought that was the best Omega. And I feel like this week the fans are probably going to like us again, but maybe
they
not.
Might. Yeah, they might. They might disagree too.
Yeah, because both these women are popular.
So. Yeah, they are. They're both popular, and I could see people going either way with them. Yeah. I just have a very strong feeling towards one of them. And the development that they've made over the last year.
Yeah, I already know where you're going. Right. Well, actually, no, they're both developed very well.
No, they have. Yeah. I just think that one of them hasn't even come close to touching what they're gonna be, and one of them has almost reached that spot of what they're gonna be.
We'll see. For Belair, it's the it factor. That's
she's got it factor just coming out of her pores.
Yeah, she's
and athleticism,
her personality, her athleticism. Thank you. Very emotional match what she did this year with Banks. It's argued. It's been mentioned for some of the matches of the year that I've seen already.
I think we can both say that both of these women, when it comes to, are incredibly emotional and are very much, and this is something we don't see enough of in wrestling, to be honest with you. People that are so emotionally invested. Britt Baker's a freaking dentist. She doesn't need to do this.
Right.
She makes a ton of money being a dentist. She's a doctor, for Christ's sakes. She doesn't have to wrestle.
No, and what I favor over Britt Baker over Belair is I just feel on the mic, Britt Baker is on another level. And I think Britt Baker is on another level compared to like
a lot of guys.
Yeah, I think she's the best interview in women's wrestling right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, you want to argue
maybe Becky. Next to Becky. Yeah, Becky.
Yeah.
Becky is so good at playing heel or face. I give Becky because Becky's like Daniel Bryan. People want to cheer for her, and she makes them hate her. That's not easy.
So that Baker Rosa match was this year too. That street fight match. So
absolutely.
Another match of the year.
That's another match of the year.
Women have had match of the year, so it's really like they're both excellent.
You talk about passion, though. I mean, you've got the athleticism Also a great wrestling family now with Belair and her husband. And then you have another great pairing with freaking Britt Baker and Adam Cole. But Britt Baker, at the end of the day, like I said before, she's a dentist. The moment she broke her nose, the moment she lost a tooth, the moment she broke her wrist, all of those injuries could have taken someone who's a doctor, and they could have just went, I don't need to do this. I'm freaking rich.
Right. No.
But she does it.
Beyond that, yeah. And I think this is going to show we're not really biased when we do try to make honest picks here.
No, we love both these girls.
Yeah, and last week, you know, it's the whole package with Roman. That's why we went there.
It comes down to what I was saying before. I feel like Britt Baker is at that pinnacle and really has reached being that pillar in AEW. Whereas I think we haven't even seen the tip of what Belair can do.
Right.
Over the next 2 to 3 years with Belair, especially this year coming up, stuff like that, we are going to see things from her, especially if she develops her character, that are absolutely incredible. I would rather see her go back towards the heel side. I don't like babyface Belair. With her athleticism and with how superior she is in that ring, she needs to be a heel. She needs to do what Roman's doing and just tell him, hey, I'm number one, screw off, and do her thing.
Yeah, it would be interesting because she does have a presence about her, and she is physically more dominant.
I know the little girls want to cheer her. I know they hear that, and they're hearing the merch sales like they did with Cena from that end, and I get it. But if for a character standpoint, and I'm not talking about money making, just from straight character, when she was a heel, when she had those tendencies in NXT, I thought her character was much stronger.
Bella, I think we're going to go Baker, though.
Baker. Yeah, we are. We're going Britt Baker.
Yeah.
And it's something that we agree on, and we hate it when we agree. Trust me on this.
We've definitely been agreeing with these awards lately.